Hi, this is Crystal Davis with crystalclearyou.com, and today I want to share with you. I'm on Zoom, so I'm going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation, and I wanted to be able to you to be able to see me as well. So I'm on Zoom, and this title of this presentation is "The Dream, the Roadmap, and the Key." So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Play the PowerPoint here. Okay, so again, Crystal Davis. My website is www.crystalclearyou.com. Okay, so Awaken, the dream, the roadmap, and the key. What's that about? What I do, I'm an awakened visionary, business mentor, and coach. And so I started out in my early days of working with my clients and working in my business, really focused on law of attraction. I'm a big thinker, always have been. So I've always been a visionary, as you probably are as well if you're watching this. So you probably have a dream, right? The dream, and you may or may not have the roadmap, and you may or may not have the key. Okay, so this presentation is about helping you to awaken to your soul's purpose and find your divine message. I've been there, done that, having the struggle in my business because I didn't know, I had a vision. And in fact, my mentor at the time told me, it's like you have this beautiful house, all the electricity is wired, but no lights are on. So if you've been in that place, you're a visionary, you have a big dream, but what you want, that dream isn't manifesting into reality. So what you most likely are probably missing, well, the clarity about what your vision really is, because you need a roadmap and you need the key. So that's what this presentation is about, helping you to step into and understand. So what is your dream business? That's really the first question, right? Again, years ago, I've been in business since 2009. And within probably like the first 3, 4, 5 years, I kept building my understanding about what visioning is, what law of attraction is, how do we manifest, that sort of thing. So the very first piece is, again, creating your dream business, which is what I now call, on the other side of it, I call your authentically inspired vision of the business and the life that you would really love. Because truly, the picture here, it's certainly, and actually I've manifested this business, not full-time, not to the complete level that I want, but I have manifested on my computer at the beach. I spent 3 to 4 months, or no, it wasn't that long. It was about 2.5 months, a couple years ago at Myrtle Beach during the winter months. So, right, I have began manifesting that. And maybe it's not the beach for you. Maybe it's a mountain cabin. But the truth is, you are only a shift in perception from your dream business. Because the reason I call it not, went from it's a vision to an inspired vision, and then I went authentically inspired vision. And so what does that mean, right? We're going to talk about that in a minute. So the second piece, again, your roadmap. What is your roadmap? The key is to use human design, which you see there in this image, which is an image of you may look at human design, you may love it, you may already be familiar with it. But if you're watching this video and you're an ideal client of mine, you probably have been overwhelmed by, even if you are aware of human design, you've been overwhelmed by it. Because look at those charts, there's a lot going on. And so what I've done for myself first, because I am a trailblazer, visionary, walking that path to getting more and more clarity around how to simplify not only human design, again, as a law of attraction, how do we manifest, again, to creating that authentically inspired business of the vision of the business and the life that you would really love. So it has to be authentic and it has to be inspired. Your roadmap is human design and my unique brilliance blueprint. In fact, it's actually, I call it a unique brilliance blueprint, but I personalize it for each and every one of the clients that work with me at the deepest level, right? Because we want to go again, that's why it's a step-by-step guide upon not just how to manifest, but your particular purpose and your path. But again, we want to cut through the clutter of even the 5 types, even though that's human design simplifying it in, oh, there's only 5 types. Well, then we want to even take it further. And that's really what my unique brilliance blueprint does. So what is your roadmap? And then third, what is the key? Okay, so even if you have a vision, even if you are using human design as your roadmap or some other wonderful tool as your roadmap, you still need the key, right? And what is the key? The key is actually, getting, we start out in life with, actually, even at birth, we have our human design birth chart, right? That's why it's called a birth chart. As soon as we're born, and in fairness to the masses and the eons of the centuries and thousands of years of human existence, human design is relatively new. And the systems that we're really stepping into now to helping us to have a roadmap for our purpose and our path, they're relatively new. But so, let's say you have that. You have done some work on your human design and whatever other systems that you've looked at. And maybe you've even done some inner child healing work. Well, if you're still struggling and you're not clear about who your tribe, how to really connect with your tribe, you even may have a clarity about, this is my tribe and these are the people, but there's still some, it can just be, you still feel that something's missing. So inner child healing, I've gone really deep. Again, I have used human design to simplifying it into the unique brilliance blueprint. And that what I call my clear the hidden mirror with inner child healing is the process that I've used to gain the clarity about what are we missing. Here again, you have the vision, the house is all wired with the electricity, yet the lights aren't on. And you have your human design and you get overwhelmed by it. And one of the key points that there's inner child work to do is that you feel alone and isolated and overwhelmed. Okay, those are the keys there. So we need to, again, what I call it clear the hidden mirror, because what we do is we look outside of ourselves and we see something that really irritates and maybe even enrages us or makes us feel guilty, whatever the emotion is. And we think it's that person or that experience or that situation, when it's actually, there's a hidden mirror there. That's why I call it a hidden mirror, because we mirror with other people and we think it's them. That's when we're really asleep. And then as we awaken to the idea, and then the beliefs start to change and evolve and heal and transform, we realize it was always me, right? It was always you. It was our inner child seeking our love and acknowledgement. Okay, so that's that. What is your key? Because even though we can understand that it's inner child, you still have to learn to listen to your inner child. And I like to equate that to, if you've ever seen an animal that is afraid of humans or afraid of contact, human contact or contact with another, whether it's another animal or a human. And the animal is most likely skittish, and it backs away from you. And it just is like, no, I don't want to be held. It completely, you can tell that it's afraid. That is actually the analogy that I use for our inner child. For most of us, for a lot of us, and I would say most of us, there is an inner child aspect of yourself that equates to your human design that feels unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. And no matter what you do, it is skittish and it's not coming out to play. It doesn't, it's afraid. Your inner child is afraid. My inner child is afraid. That is actually why I call it the key, because until we can have the vision, we can have the roadmap, but if we don't know how to unlock and help our inner child to feel safe again, and to feel safe, to be seen, heard, and understood, then it doesn't matter what systems you're using, nothing's going to work, because that part of you is still going to stay hidden, and you're not going to connect with yourself, much less with your tribe of ideal and perfect clients, and allowing yourself to creating that dream business that you would really love to create. Okay, so what it looks like when you have a wounded inner child is, and I'm starting with the third question, and we're going to back into the dream. Well, we're going to go from the key to the roadmap and then to the dream. Okay. So while we may start with a vision of the business and life we would love, and then we find, oh, here's a roadmap, and then we actually get to, oh, then I need a key, right? I want to begin with helping you to understand with what creates that, what I call the core wound of identity. And the truth is, we all have this core wound. We're born, and the biggest reason for that, this little girl here, this image on the PowerPoint, where she is looking at this wall, this reflective wall, right? This mirror that is all cracked and broken. That's the word, right? When we don't have the clarity about what our purpose and our path is, and we don't have that roadmap of our human design, and even if we have human design, we don't know how to really see, hear, and understand those wounded parts of ourselves and truly help them. What it looks like is we're living life from this wounded sense of self. Again, the analogy of the broken mirror. We feel broken. We feel guilty. We feel, shame. We feel the rage comes up, again, whether it's another person or some experience in our life. All of that is again, this hidden mirror of how your inner child really feels. So that really is this core wound of identity, meaning the parts of you and me, again, I've experienced this. I've been working with human design and creating my unique brilliance blueprint and this inner child healing work with clearing this hidden mirror. I've been working on this system, the whole system, for about 10 years or almost 11 years, and then working and building the system throughout that entire period. And so the core wound of identity, I actually had a massive struggle. If you're anything like me, massive struggle in my business. It wasn't working because of the woundedness that my inner child felt. And so even if I go back and share a little bit with my story, I worked in a 6-figure government job. And so I had the money, I had the house, I was married, and it looked, on the outside looking in, it probably looked like I had it all. Yet, if you talk to me, the real me, I would go home. I would go to, actually during the day in my day job, would go to the office, and I'd go into the bathroom and bawl my eyes out. I would come home, and I just always felt like something was missing. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I just knew deep within. And why? Why? Because I was being triggered. I would go and what I was manifesting in my day job is I would be a part of a project, and even being around my colleagues and the people that, it wasn't them, although I thought it was them at the time, I always felt out of place. And I often call it the ugly duckling syndrome, right? Feeling, again, unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. So that's what caused me to go to the bathroom, go home, and just always feeling. And it feels, well, alone, isolated was really for me, really how it showed up for me. I just always felt alone and didn't know why. So living with the core wound, there's a lot of ways that it manifests. In fact, I've identified through my unique brilliance blueprint I've identified 7 distinct ways that the core wound of identity manifests itself. Okay, so we'll get into one of those examples here today. But again, right, if you're, and I again, all of humanity experiences this. Why? Because you've actually stepped in. Let me step back and say that you've actually stepped in to this life with gifts to find, with unexpressed aspects of yourself to find, right? To unearth and to bring forward. Life would be, and I know it's definitely no fun when you're in that deepest, that deepest pain. Yet, if we didn't have these places inside of us that felt unseen, unheard, and misunderstood, then life would just be monotonous, right? There is a gift there. And I know that doesn't help when you're in that place of fear and feeling that alone and that isolation and that overwhelm. COVID certainly has brought us all to, most of us, if not all of us, to that place. And so I love this image because it's about choosing and learning that you're really the chooser or you're the decider. Okay, my system, my unique brilliance blueprint, along with using human design to complete your unique brilliance blueprint, your personalized unique brilliance blueprint, is about helping you to learn to see how you can choose love over choosing fear. Because when you do, then you will learn to deepen your relationship with your inner child and to help those parts of yourself that feel unexpressed, unseen, unheard, and misunderstood finally feel that you love them, you acknowledge them, and then you move out of this place of alone and isolated and into what I call connected and fulfilled. Okay. So, but how do you turn it around, right? So what I've got done is I've talked about the core wound of identity. I've talked about the dream, the roadmap, and the key, and what that is. And so, but now we want to get into a little bit of the process today. I'm going to take a drink. So, how do you turn it all around and succeed? Again, the truth is, all of us at some level, all of us at various degrees, and that's how, even somebody that thinks, hey, I'm successful. Well, I guess that was me. That's part of my story too. I've had both sides now. The 6-figure government job where it looks like I'm successful, but yet was on the inside major mess. And then after I left my 6-figure job, I proceeded to go through bankruptcy, foreclosure, one money and one struggle after another over this last 10 to 11 years as I've built the system. Because I was designed, and all of us are uniquely designed with a purpose and a path that helps us to be a divine messenger, to discover what makes you uniquely brilliant and find your divine message so that you can truly help the ideal clients that you alone are here to help. Okay, so how we turn it around is to begin to acknowledge the pain. Okay, and that's where I know it can feel so super scary. And that's why really the vision is so important and so powerful. Because if you don't have something that you want greater than your pain, right? Like when I talk about my 6-figure job, there was just pain. I really wasn't living my life from a vision. And then as I decided, hey, enough is enough. These people don't get me. Like the bosses couldn't. I knew my work wasn't valued in the way that I wanted it to be valued. Although, of course, most of that was in my head. I stepped out of that 6-figure job and I left it because I said, hey, I have this vision. This is going to change. And so the vision is very powerful for that. So I created, as a core to my system, is this turnaround, or the turnaround from pain to pleasure. So what we see here is that when we're focused out there. We're focused on, well, like in my six-figure government job, I always said, I need the boss to love and acknowledge me. I need, my spouse, or I need my colleagues or my friends, or it was always someone out there, right? That's an outside in unconscious need that's at play there. And that's actually a big clue that you're dealing with your inner child. And there's a healing and transformation that your inner child is seeking. But we're so caught up, most of us, in this belief that, well, what we want is out there, that if somebody else would just change. Okay, that's the outside in perspective that's going to come from outside, and our life will change. And of course, that never works. So there's a gap, however, that we need to learn to navigate to turn the pain into pleasure. And true pleasure is leading from the inside out, which is leading from love, compassion, and joy. And so my system now helps you to make that healing and that transformation, to really disconnect from the outside world and reconnect to the love, the joy, the compassion that's inside of you. Okay, but that's where the dream, the roadmap, and the key come in. You have to gain clarity about all three aspects to truly turn around your pain and into the pleasure. One thing I know, because of my own personal journey and working my system over and over again with myself and also with my clients, is that there's always a gift. Pain is always, always, always. And I know, and when you're in that dark place, I just want you to hold on to these words and believe in my belief, because I've, again, experienced it over and over again. And I'm proof, right? My system is proof that when you work the system, that you can find the gift in whatever struggle that you're having. Because again, when you can love and acknowledge those inner aspects of yourself, in fact, looking at your human design, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so I want to actually share. When we learn to love and acknowledge our real authentic selves, which is attached to your human design, then we can truly let go of the pain and receive our gifts, receive the pleasure. So, but first we have to look at the two core questions. The first one is, what would I really love to be, to do, and to have? Now that's where the inspiration comes in, because, like, for example, the pain in my job that I was experiencing, I experienced that pain and I became inspired through the universe is synchronistic. I would receive, like, I was sitting in the auditorium in my job watching a motivational speaker, an inspirational speaker, deliver his talk. And that was one of the triggers for me, because I'm an inspirational speaker. I prefer inspiration over motivation, because inspiration is internal. Inspiration springs up from within your beingness, from your spirit, from your soul, that's always guiding you to what you really want. And so this core question really fueled the first 4 to 5 years of my journey. That's all I really knew. And I just kept building brick by brick by brick. The second question of how am I authentically designed to serve my tribe of ideal clients took me a bit longer, because it wasn't until 2014 that I actually discovered human design. And then, it's funny, every piece that I found was always like, woohoo, now I'm ready to go. And then we spend a bit of time going through what I always called knockdown, drag out fights with God, because I'm like, what else? What else? Oh gosh, that deep, darkest, and I call it the dark, dark tunnel of the nowhere, where it just felt like, you look at this picture on the slide down below, the crisis, right? I just always felt, well, actually, the starting line was like when I started my business in 2009. By 2011, I left my six-figure government job. And then, of course, those ideas that I had actually seemed to be leading to more problems, and then crisis, knockdown, drag out fights, dark tunnel to nowhere. What am I going to do? Okay. And so I, though, kept doing that, building the brick by brick by brick. I'm nothing if I'm not committed. And so, and I know that about you as well, because if you're listening to this, you're absolutely ready to step into a deeper commitment to your soul, to the awakening to your soul's purpose. Okay, so these are the two core questions that we have to ask, and that will always, always, always guide you to through your awakening, through those dark places, to the light at the end of the tunnel, and to awakening and finding your divine message. So exciting. And then, okay, so I talked about my unique brilliance blueprint. What my unique brilliance blueprint does is it brings everything together. Again, if you're familiar with human design or not, or if those examples of human design that I showed you earlier overwhelmed you, well, that's okay. Because what I've done in this unique brilliance blueprint is I'm able to personalize for each and every one of my clients their experience of their purpose, of stepping more fully into their purpose and their path, because I've created this system, this unique brilliance blueprint, to help you to cut through the clutter of all of that. And one of the core ways that I do that is what I call the 7 axes of self-mastery. And what you'll see on this slide is the 7th axis, which is the communication axis. Now, all 7 of these axes of self-mastery align directly to the gates that you have in your human design birth chart. And they also align with, they align with the dream, because it's, you want to awaken to your soul's purpose and find your divine message, number 1. And number 2, you need a roadmap. You need, if you were going to go, go on any road trip, right? Let's go back to this slide right here, right? Ups and downs, and if you need a roadmap to get from LA to New York, you definitely need a roadmap to get from where you are to your soul's purpose and finding your divine message to truly attract the right clients and fulfill and create that dream business, right? Because there's all these ups and downs, and the more clarity you have, the easier and the faster, the more focus, the more it'll come together, right? Okay, so then this unique brilliance blueprint and these 7 axes of self-mastery, the dream, the roadmap, and the inner child healing work that I described to you, right? So the communication axis in particular, again, this is the example I'm using today. What the inner child looks like, if this statement is usually where the inner child is, right? Which is, there's an emotion, and the inner child is saying, no matter what I do, and again, this was me, no matter what I do, I struggle, so angry. I struggle with feeling unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. They just don't get me, right? Other people, which leaves me, they don't get me. They don't see me. They don't hear me. They don't understand me, which leaves me feeling confused and anxious about what I say and what I do. That was so me. I mean, throughout my entire life, it was just really deeply painful when I was a strategic planner for the FBI and in those executive meetings. And, I thought I was doing this really great work, but yet deep within me was just this pain. And truth be told, when we have this deep, deep pain, our parents couldn't help us because they didn't have a roadmap. Our bosses certainly couldn't help us because they're just concerned, like when, especially the government, they just want to complete the mission. They just want to get the work done, right? They don't, it's not that they don't care. They don't know any better, right? It's like our parents. And if I didn't know any better about who I am, I can't ask, anybody else to figure it out, right? Unless you have a really good coach that can help you with a unique brains blueprint, right? So does this resonate? No matter what I do, I struggle with feeling unseen, unheard, and misunderstood by other people, which leaves me feeling confused and anxious about what I say and about what I do. Okay. So without clear communication, I love this image, right? You have an unconscious need to be seen, heard, and understood. This is this image, right? This is why we feel alone and isolated. We're standing there. We want people to see us. We want to be connected and fulfilled. We want to, especially, I've been there, done that. You're there, you're going to one networking event after another. You're doing your marketing. You're doing what everybody tells you to do. You're putting yourself out there to market yourself. Yet it feels just like this person standing and people passing you like ships in the night, right? Pure law of attraction. When you feel unseen, unheard, and misunderstood, you keep manifesting it over and over and over again. So we've got to get in there into the unconscious to heal that unconscious need. Okay. With clear communication. And this is you, right? Remember that image that I showed where the feet, and you can choose between fear and love. So you're the communicator of your divine message or not, right? Without people, it doesn't matter what you're saying. If you feel unseen and misunderstood, you even can be saying the right words, that the feeling is vibrational, and that's what you're manifesting. And usually we're not saying the right words either, because, even though we might be getting some of it right, there's usually more clarity even for what we're saying, in addition to the emotion and the vibration that we're coming from. Okay. With clear communication and with a clear vibration, and let me define that a little even deeper, right? And actually, I've got a few more slides that'll demonstrate that. Clear communication, and actually this one does, right? I show this little boy over here with the airplane, right? This is your little boy, or it could be a little girl, right? Just have a little boy there. Your inner child, when he or she feels seen, heard, and understood, you see how that manifests. You feel that on the inside, it'll manifest on the outside, right? So that's why I say you feel seen, heard, and understood first. You help your inner child because you finally are loving and acknowledge that they're there. You see, there are these unexpressed aspects of yourselves that you don't know that's there. And even if you know your human design birth chart at some level, if you're experiencing pain in your life, there's an unexpressed aspect of yourself that's seeking your love and acknowledgement, and it's in your human design. But without the eyes to see it, you're not going to get there. Okay. Again, that's where the inner child healing work is, and why it's so, so powerful. So once you heal on the inside, then you get the vibration, and then the words, your body language, then you communicate, right? Through your words, your actions, your beingness, you communicate your divine message, and the right people show up. That's law of attraction. And that's how you get law of attraction to work for you. So the one picture is the healing with the inner child, and the inner child's now feeling free to express him or herself. And then the picture with the people, you're now connected and fulfilled, and the right people are surrounding you, and it gets easier, and law of attraction just keeps snowballing once you do that inner child healing and get that healing and that clarity that you really truly need. So with the communication axis in my Unique Brilliance Blueprint, what we need to look at is, what gates do you have in Mercury and Jupiter? The gates in Mercury, by the way, is the planet of communication. Most of us are familiar with that. And communicating the details, not only communication, but detailed communication about what is your divine message. What are the details that your tribe needs to hear from you? If you look at your human design chart and the gates you have in Mercury, that will give you the details. Okay. And, human design, we're doing, again, just one axis, one of the axes of self-mastery. There are 6 others: a communication axis, there's visionary leadership axis, divine purpose axis, and more, right? So again, 7 in total. And then Jupiter, Mercury details. Jupiter is where we begin to take the details and we organize them by themes. Jupiter is big, expansive, and when you're talking about your divine message, it is absolutely focused on the bigger themes that you want to get your arms around, the big picture communication. And so you can see that's why I call them axes, or in this case, the communication axis, is that they literally are, you want to compare. You learn by comparing your gates in Mercury and Jupiter to form the communication axis, right? You're not going to, that's why human design, that's how my system helps you to cut through the clutter. When you know which of the astrological symbols in the chart and how to organize them and how to look at which axis of self-mastery that you're looking at, then you really, I call them ice cubes, because it's that what was frozen inside of you, that part of you that needed to be seen, heard, and understood. The more you do this work through these 7 axes of self-mastery and your unique brilliance blueprint via human design, then the more you do that work, the more clarity comes, the more your inner child feels loved and acknowledged, and the more your ideal and perfect clients can see you. Finding your divine message. Everybody has a story, right? All of us were put on this planet. In fact, we chose, I believe this, that we chose the purpose and the path that we're on. Now it's just remembering and having the right tools and techniques to help us to get to that place of clarity. So what's your story, right? What's your divine message? And then, right, connected and fulfilled. I love this heart here. Love yourself really is at the center. Again, you have to have the eyes to see the parts of yourself that have been trying. And I've been starting to say, there have been, when we have pain, it's like those parts of ourselves have been barking for us to see, hear, and understand them. And so when we start to love those aspects that are found in your human design and understand how to love them and understand what they've really been asking for, then, everything just opens up. In fact, I have the gate 36, which is the gate of crisis resolution in my conscious earth in my human design birth chart. And so I wondered throughout most of my life, why did I have this crisis? And then when I started my business, what the heck is happening? Why am I going? Why those dark tunnels? Why bankruptcy and foreclosure? And I felt the guilt, the shame, the disappointment, and all of that. Then when I became aware and started to get the eyes to see, and I saw that gate of crisis resolution in my conscious earth, I went, oh my God, well, crisis earth is where we ground through the human design system. Crisis is actually very grounding for me. Why? Because I'm here and I'm designed to help each person who is ready to awaken to their soul's purpose by truly loving their divine self, right? And those aspects that are in your human design part and your human design birth chart are a huge part. Really they're the key, right? That we talked about before. You have the dream, you have the vision, you may even have the human design roadmap, but you need to unlock the key to which of those aspects are barking and are underneath that pain, just seeking your love, you to love and acknowledge yourself. And that truly has made the difference between the life I was living and the life I'm living now. In working with the clients that I adore. You can see my beautiful new office here that I'm in, and I'm just putting myself out there in greater and greater ways each and every day, because I've done not only built the system, but done my own healing and transformational work and truly help my inner child to finally feel safe and loved and connected with me and fulfilled with me. And I love me. And so when we do that, no longer need that from other people. But the unconscious need is healed, and we can be, in this world, but not of it, and feel, safe again. And not only safe, but, stand out and shine is the other part of my brand that I love. You're here to stand out and shine, and the system will help you to do that. Okay. So the result, find your divine message. Again, do you hear your own inner voice? We often try to reach out that hand to someone else and to see, hear, and understand them because that's, again, that outside in mentality. Oh, if I just reach out to more people. In fact, early in my business, somebody told me, well, just talk to more people. Well, it's like, just do it. It didn't really work for me because I had that inner child healing work to do before I could connect. I had to connect with myself. And most of us, we have to connect with ourselves before we can truly connect with other people. Ultimately, though, you will find your divine message and connect with the ideal clients that you're here to serve. So this has been a presentation because I want to invite you. I'm going to be sharing this, hopefully for years, because I love this presentation. So you might actually be watching this after March 26th, 2021. And if you are, that's fine, because you can actually, I'm sure I will have a link below here that you can click on to still watch the workshop that I'm doing. But so for those of you that are tuning in before March 26th of 2021, I am doing a live workshop, 1-hour workshop at the Purposeful Women's Retreat, where I will be going through all 7 of the axes of self-mastery. Now, it's just an hour long, but hopefully you found this informative. So I'm going to be looking at all 7 of the unconscious needs that the inner child has, and then the transformation that will happen when you do the work that's associated with that particular axis of self-mastery. Okay, and so I want to inspire you to be there live. You can sign up for the workshop, and that's okay, but and receive it afterward. But if you come live, that's okay if you can't make it live. But if you can, please do so, because when you come live, you will have an opportunity to receive a free mini reading with me. Now, of course, it's an hour, so not everybody will. But again, you'll have your opportunity if you come live. And so if you don't yet have your human design birth chart, email me at info@crystalclearyou.com and include your birthday, your time of birth, and your place of birth. Okay, and we'll send that right back out to you. And then, and please, make a note in that email that you send whether you will be able to attend this live workshop or not. That way, I will know if you want a free mini reading with me. Just because I plan on having several people there and several human design charts, and I just want to make sure, because I have to do the prep work, right, to look at your designs in advance, and I want to make sure that I'm super focused, because I want to make sure that I'm serving everybody that is in attendance at the highest level possible. Okay. And then finally, if you can come live and then you stay till the end of the workshop, you will receive my Stand Out and Shine Magnetic Success Roadmap as my gift to you. That is a 1-pager where I've put many, many, many steps that clarified, let me say it this way, clarified actually the process into a 1-page Stand Out and Shine Magnetic Success Roadmap. Again, it's my gift to you for coming to the workshop and staying until the end. Okay, so don't miss out. The Purposeful Women's Retreat, again, Friday, March 26, 2021, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The title of the talk is Awaken Your Soul's Purpose and Find Your Divine Message with Human Design, and build your authentic business for more clients, more money, and more life. The bit.ly link there, you can write that down here from the slide, or it'll be below. Either if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching that, there'll be a link in the note section as well that you can just click on. Okay, so again, I'm Crystal Davis. I hope you'll join me for my workshop next week, and email me for your human design birth chart. And you can also visit my website at www.crystalclearyou.com. And I just hope to see you there, and I hope you're having a fabulous day and that the weather is great wherever you may be in the world. All right, have a fabulous weekend, and I look forward to seeing you and meeting you. Thank you. Bye-bye.